Right now at 6, area small businesses gather to discuss how recent legislation could affect them.
And we've got a great looking start to the day. We do have a very hot and muggy day ahead of us, though. Look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, a deadly house fire in Bourbon County claims the life of a woman with mobility issues.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It is now Thursday, July the 10th. And as we talked about, our summer so far hasn't been that bad. We've had a lot worse summers. Last year was really bad. This year, not too terrible, but we have had those days where it's gotten a little bit hot, a little bit muggy. That's going to be what we're getting into for our Thursday as we are looking at a not so pleasant day outside, especially those who work outdoors. Yes. But it looks nice, and we can show you that with our camera in downtown Pittsburgh. Sunrise looks nice. Got a few clouds out there. That's really about it. It looks nice now. If you got something you need to do and you can do it now's probably the time. MoDOT camera 20th and range line in Joplin also looking good as we get this day started. We are, again, get that little shower. I want to also point out very quickly, this, all of that there, this over here, none of this is actually happening. This is just ground clutter and just some funky radar returns here. The only thing that's real is this little shower here. It's trying to get into our area. It developed along a band from an outflow boundary from some severe storms overnight. If you watch, you'll see them flare up, but then they also start to die out. Now, they're moving southeast. If they hold together, some of our northern counties this morning might get a thunderstorm or two. Not expecting much, really not expecting them to hold together, but we'll keep an eye on them just in case. We also have some fog, especially around the Grand Lake area this morning. So we've got Ottawa, Delaware counties, parts of Craig and McDonald counties as well. If you're on 60, 69, I-44, you just want to make sure you're slowing down. Low beams, not your high beams, and giving yourself time to get where you're going this morning. Now, after that, again, maybe a stray cloud or two. Really, we're just kind of looking at clear skies. Future Track still trying to show a pop-up shower this afternoon. I'm going to tell you right now that we told you yesterday, too. The odds of rain today were extraordinarily low. They are even more so low as we head into the afternoon, so don't really think that's going to happen. We'll have those clear skies, and like I said, it's going to be hot and muggy. Already pretty mild this morning for some of us. 69 in Joplin, so falling back a little closer to normal. 70 in Pittsburgh, and across the area, the further west you go, the warmer it is. So we have some upper 60s in the eastern portions of our area, and as you start rolling west, we get into those low 70s. So again, a somewhat mild start to the day. Clear skies warming up quickly. 80 by 9, upper 80s by noon, low 90s for our highs today. South breeze 5 to 10, and our heat index values could easily approach 100 degrees. So again, just make sure you're staying hydrated, taking breaks if you got to be outside, and just take care of yourself. Now, it's going to be hot and muggy again tomorrow, but gusty winds bringing in some rain chances. We'll go over those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks. So, a Topeka, Kansas man learns his fate for his role in a 2024 fatal crash in Jasper County, Missouri. The crash happened about 7 months ago on December 7th. Authorities responded to a report of a rollover on Sumac Road and County Road 280 in Jasper County. Troopers say a compact SUV pulled into the path of another car, causing it to overturn. Crystal Emery from Asbury was in that car. She died of her injuries at Freeman West. Authorities arrested the SUV driver, Malachi Doyle, who was then 20 years old. Yesterday, a Southwest Missouri judge sentenced Doyle to 2 years of unsupervised probation for the crash that killed Crystal Emery from Asbury. Authorities had originally charged Doyle with multiple charges, including DWI causing the death of another, but as part of the plea bargain, authorities dropped the DWI charge. A 6-month jail sentence was also suspended. Doyle will have to pay more than $300 in fines and court costs. Well, a woman is dead following a fire on the outskirts of Fort Scott. According to the state fire marshal's office, it happened in the 2200 block of Osage Road shortly before 5 p.m. Tuesday. The Scott Township, Fort Scott, and Bourbon County District 3 fire departments responded to the fire, where a woman with mobility issues was trapped. Firefighters discovered the woman dead in her bed in the living room. The fire marshal's office says there's nothing suspicious about the fire at this time. Yesterday, local business owners in McDonald County got the opportunity to learn more about how state and federal legislation may impact them. It was part of a lunch and learn event hosted by the McDonald County Chamber of Commerce. A representative from the National Federation of Independent Businesses spoke to business owners about what work they're doing to support them, as well as answer questions about recent legislation. Topics included action taken to address Proposition A concerns in Missouri and why the Federation sees the recently passed Big Beautiful Bill as a win for businesses across the country.
We are hopeful that they're focusing on bringing manufacturing back. They're focusing on tariffing those countries that don't play fair. And so that allows our craftsmen, our machinists, our labor to begin to come up.
Another issue local business owners say they're concerned about is property taxes. That will be the topic of the next Lunch and Learn hosted by the McDonald County Chamber of Commerce. And more emergency help is on the way to flood-ravaged Central Texas, and it's arriving from out of state. FEMA has activated a first responder group out of Missouri. Officials in Boone County, Missouri say 52 members that make up Missouri Task Force 1 will help with water rescues and locating bodies of victims. The group is expected to head to the hardest hit area of Texas, Kerr County, and be on the ground up to 2 weeks. The catastrophic flooding has left more than 100 people dead. The search continues for others who are missing. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Heartbreak and a hope in Texas as families search for loved ones lost in the floods. Plus, a look at how the nation's new budget legislation could impact area health care. And we have a hot and humid day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch Day 7 in the search for the more than 170 people still missing following last Friday's deadly flash flooding in Central Texas. Now, this morning, we're learning new details about the warnings that did and did not go off. CBS's Jared Hill has the latest.
In Central Texas, a 7th day of searching for more than 100 people still missing after last week's flood. In Travis County, J.J. Jarman is still looking for his 16-year-old daughter.
I've managed the past few days since this has happened by the support of my friends.
Elsewhere, Mike Tober's Mission Mules carrying supplies for first responders are uniquely equipped to help navigate the terrain.
We are here from North Carolina to help them as long and as hard as we can.
Amid the cleanup, questions about the systems meant to help notify people. John David Trollinger, a former Kerr County IT director, was part of the team that installed the county's Code Red phone-based warning system. He recorded the moment volunteer firefighters requested that Code Red alert as early as 4:22 a.m.
Is there any way we can send a Code Red out to our Hunt residents asking them to find higher ground or stay home?
Standby, we have to get that approved with our supervisor.
Some survivors report getting a Code Red alert an hour later. Trollinger says his didn't come in until after 10 a.m.
Someone should have gotten up and been there to go, okay, send the Code Red.
The Kerr County Sheriff.
This incident will be reviewed. You have my word.
Meanwhile, the community, through prayer, song, and service, is trying to heal. Flags were lowered to half staff across Texas, the community cloaked in tragedy, searching for a way forward. Jared Hill, CBS News.
President Trump has said he plans to visit the area tomorrow. And authorities in Ruidoso say a man and 2 children drowned on Tuesday. Dozens of homes were damaged and emergency crews scrambled to rescue people trapped in homes and cars. The downpour was swift with more than 3 inches of rain in 90 minutes. Ruidoso is still recovering from last year's wildfires and the floods that followed. Mayor Crawford says the situation could have been much worse had people not heeded warnings to move to higher ground. Damage assessments will likely take several days. And still to come, a look at how the nation's new budget legislation could impact area health care. Plus, Chris returns with another look at your Thursday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Morning, I'm Elise Snowy with your KWM News update. A woman is dead following a fire on the outskirts of Fort Scott. According to the state fire marshal's office, it happened in the 2200 block of Osage Road shortly before 5 p.m. Tuesday. Firefighters discovered the woman dead in her bed in the living room. The fire marshal's office says there's nothing suspicious about the fire at this time. And Malachi Doyle of Topeka, Kansas learns his fate for his role in a 2024 fatal crash in Jasper County, Missouri. The crash happened about 7 months ago on December 7th. A Southwest Missouri judge sentenced Doyle to 2 years of unsupervised probation for the crash that killed Crystal Emery from Asbury.
And we've got a hot and muggy day, low 90s out there. Heat index values could easily approach 100. Clear skies, south winds 5 to 10. Clear through the evening, still very warm, about 80 by 10, and a mild night, low to mid 70s. And we've got mostly clear skies. Tomorrow, southwest winds start gusting to 25. Doesn't help, but it'll be breezy. Hot and muggy again, heat index values close to 100. Thunderstorm chances building, though, by Friday afternoon and overnight, continuing through at least Monday, bringing us below normal for the weekend. Heating up Monday, Tuesday, and back below normal by next Wednesday.
Welcome back. Lori Horton joins us in the studio this morning to teach us how to make her toasted pecan cookies. Lori, good morning.
Good morning.
To me about, we're already working hard.
I know, we got to jump right in this morning. You know, it's just going to be that kind of day. But what I'm doing over here is I wanted to get a little head start on toasting the pecans because it's obviously a very important ingredient in these cookies. It's right there in the title. And it's going to take just a couple minutes over a medium to high heat. And this has just got a little bit of melted butter, a couple tablespoons, and about a cup and a half of some chopped pecans. And they're not super finely chopped, they're just kind of pieces. You know, do that as big or small as you like. But we want to sit here and just really let them toast, and you need to stir this constantly. You need to be turning that melted butter, making sure those pecans are getting coated. You could actually do it in a little more of a small saucepan as well, or a little skillet if that's what you've got. Just something to kind of keep them moving. You don't want to scorch the butter.
Right.
But you are going to get that
now,
extra
do you want to
flavor.
put the butter and the pecans in all at once, or do you want to do that differently?
I melted the butter first, so that it made it just a little bit easier to kind of toss over the pecans. So it's really preference. It doesn't totally matter, but just make sure that you're constantly keeping those pecans moving because we'll get a good toasty, nutty flavor. But if you just, I know, right? It's filling up already. But if you just sort of walk away and let those set, you're going to get some scorched ones on the bottom. So we don't want to taste that burnt butter flavor in there. These cookies are a little bit unique in some of the ingredients. Nothing out of the ordinary, but we make a really chewy, almost cakey type cookie.
Delicious.
But yet it still has that crisp bottom that everybody likes, those crisp edges. And the way that we do that is we incorporate all 3 of our leavening ingredients that we don't usually put in a cookie dough recipe. This is going to have baking soda, baking powder, and a little bit of cornstarch.
So how does that work out if we don't normally use it?
Usually we kind of go with one or the other, sometimes 2. But the point of that is with our baking powder and our baking soda, those leaveners give us lift and rise. So they make them bake up a little bit, but they still give a crisp edge. The cornstarch jumps in there and it still keeps them nice and chewy in the middle. It almost is the equivalent of when you add it to all-purpose flour. It almost becomes like a cake flour.
Right, interesting.
Yeah, so it's just a little bit different, but it makes them such a good texture that you want to make sure that you really follow that recipe very precisely because it's different amounts of each. It's kind of odd. And I was making these yesterday. It's been a very long day, and I started to add the wrong amount of one. I caught myself in the nick of time, but you want to be very careful with that and make sure that you're getting the amounts in there correctly because they react against the acid in the brown sugar. And again, very important when we draw that line between baking and cooking. Baking is that science that is so important that we follow. So these are just about toasted up and ready to use. And when we come back, we're going to get all of those ingredients combined, make that yummy dough, and talk about how we bake these off to get that great texture. So totally worth it.
Smells and looks wonderful, so you definitely don't want to miss it. Lori, thanks. Stick around. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, a new mural in Joplin carries a message of unity, how the community came together to bring All Aboard to life.
And we've got a nice start to the day. Mild temperatures out there and the sunshine looks beautiful, but it's going to be hot and muggy later. We'll have a look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, county fair season is here. How 4-H exhibitors in Vernon County are rebuilding more than just livestock experience.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOA Morning News. It's 6:33. I'm Elise Noe.
Hi, Chris Warner. It is now Thursday, July the 10th, and there were baby goats. I didn't see the video earlier, so baby goats. They're cute. They were baby goats at a farm south of the station here, south of Crestline, I think it was. I saw the other day, and baby goat, they're cool.
Yeah.
So, all right, it is fair season though, but it's also summer season. So, if you're heading to any of these fairs, you got to make sure you're staying hydrated, taking breaks outside, and of course, keep an eye on the animals as well, because today is going to be one of those not so great summer days for us. Let's start with a live look from downtown Pittsburgh. We've got that sun rising, got a few clouds, and that's really about it. Maybe a cloud or two through the day, but not much to worry about. MoDOT camera 20th and range line also looking pretty good this morning. And as we look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker, it's probably the last time we're going to look at it this morning because we had a little thunderstorm develop just north of our area, and you can see there's barely anything left. There was a line of severe storms pushing to the southeast, very similar to yesterday morning, or what was it? No, not yesterday morning, morning before. Either way, very similar. An outflow boundary formed. Storms developed pretty quickly off of that, and then they kind of fizzled back out. You can see little showers trying, but honestly not looking promising. In fact, our rain chances today all but zero. We do have some fog, though, around the Grand Lake area, so Ottawa, Delaware, Craig, and Western McDonald counties. Make sure you're slowing down. Low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights if you have them. And just also watch out. You get into those dips and valleys and things. You could have rapidly changing visibility, so just because you can see all right now doesn't mean you can floor it. You want to make sure you are being careful. Outside of that, again, a cloud or two. That's really going to be about it. Sunny skies today. Very summer-like day. Very muggy day. Future track, again, it's trying to show a stray shower, pop-up shower. I really don't think that's going to happen. We're going to stay dry. It's going to be muggy. It's going to be uncomfortable outside, and that's the best we're going to do for our Thursday. But we do have increasing rain chances heading into tomorrow. All right, 69 in Joplin, coming down to 68 in Pittsburgh. So our temperatures, at least this morning, pretty close to normal for some of us. Others, especially the further west you go, a little above normal. We got upper 60s, and as you track west, we start getting into the low 70s. We're going to heat up pretty quickly today, though. About 80 by 9, upper 80s by noon, low 90s for our highs. We're expecting clear skies, south winds 5 to 10, but the other side of this thing is we've got heat index values today easily approaching 100 degrees. That's why we said make sure you're taking care of yourself. We'll have another look at your forecast, talk about the rain chances and some cooler weather on the way here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks. Well, the city of Joplin debuts a brand new mural yesterday afternoon. A ribbon cutting ceremony for the mural took place at Smith's Flooring Stores. The Joplin Arts District partnered with Aloe Fiber on the mural titled All Aboard, whose theme is a message of unity, welcoming everyone regardless of who or what they are.
This is why we have an arts district, is to have something community oriented for us that are in here and for people to come in and visit and see that it's fun to eat, play, live, shop here.
Nearly 40 people attended the event. All were treated to refreshments following the public debut. Well, county fairs across the 4 states are in full swing. At the Vernon County Youth Fairgrounds yesterday morning, 4-H exhibitors checked in and weighed livestock as they prepared for the shows. Exhibitors were registering dairy goats and rabbits and weighing in dairy steers. For one 4-H member, county fairs are not just a chance to show off hard work, but also a way to build community and strong connections.
A lot of preparation. It depends what you're in. In dairy goats, it's just a lot of milking and just clipping their hoofs and stuff.
The Vernon County Fair runs through Saturday. And the 58th annual Newton County Fair is officially underway. Now, there's a lot going on the fairgrounds in Neosho, Missouri. 4-H'ers are busy showing their market livestock, from steers and goats to rabbits and chickens. A lot of the work goes into getting each animal ready for fair season. Now, in addition to livestock, the exhibit buildings are now open to the public, where you can view a variety of award-winning projects.
Used to, when I was little, we went to the fair and I saw all the stuff here that was going on, and I thought, wouldn't that be fun to make? So we started making it, and all the plants, the ink pens, art, everything.
The Newton County Fair runs through Saturday. You'll find more information on the events page at KOAMnewsnow.com. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. NVIDIA hits a record-shattering $4 trillion valuation, outpacing Apple and leading the AI boom. And still to come, Amazon Prime Day is off to a record-breaking start. How shoppers are spending big during this year's mega sale. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, in Consumer Watch, President Donald Trump yesterday threatened Brazil with a crippling tariff of 50% starting August 1st. In a letter posted on Truth Social, President Trump alleges Brazil's current president is undertaking a, quote, witch hunt over charges against former President Jair Bolsonaro. Now, Bolsonaro, who has spoken about his friendship with President Trump, is facing trial for allegedly attempting to stage a coup. Yesterday, Silicon Valley chip maker NVIDIA became the first publicly traded company to surpass the $4 trillion mark valuation. The milestone is the latest sign of an artificial intelligence boom. NVIDIA is now worth $900 million more than Apple, which became the first publicly traded company to pass the $1 trillion mark. And Amazon's week of Prime Day shopping opportunities began with a bang. U.S. online sales jumped 9.9% year over year to $7.9 billion on Tuesday. Now, on day one of Amazon's Prime Day mega sale, making it the single biggest e-commerce day in 2025. The Amazon Prime Day event continues through Friday. And it's been nearly 4 decades since Greg LeMond became the first American to win the Tour de France. With the famed multi-stage bike race underway now, he received a special honor in Washington yesterday. On Capitol Hill, House Speaker Mike Johnson spoke of Greg LeMond's achievement in the sport as he presented the cycling legend with the Congressional Gold Medal. LeMond won the Tour de France in 1986 and captured the title again in 1989 and 1990. A new ballot push in Ohio aims to abolish property taxes, but not everyone is on board. Doug Petcash reports.
Sherry Smith loves her East Columbus home and the flowers she's planted over the last 25 years.
You know why I love lavender?
But over the last 10 years, she says her property tax has nearly doubled to $600 every 6 months.
What would it mean to you to get some property tax relief?
It would mean that I could go to a grocery store and not have to keep handing things back to the cashier and saying, I can't afford this right now. I can't afford this.
A grassroots group is pushing a measure to make Sherry's and every other property owner's property taxes $0. Volunteers are collecting signatures to put a constitutional amendment abolishing property taxes in Ohio on the ballot in 2026.
We have collected petitions from 76 of the 88 counties.
Brian Massey sits on the 5-member committee organizing the effort. He says they believe homeownership is the foundation of freedom.
Right now, with the complex property tax system that we have, taxing us on unrealized gains, people are finally tuning in that we're merely just renters from the government.
The group missed the July 2nd deadline to turn in more than 400,000 valid voter signatures to the Secretary of State to put the amendment to voters this year. So they're setting their sights on next year.
We're not going to go away. We're serious about this. This is not just a pie in the sky. We want our freedom and liberty, and that starts with home ownership.
Massey says the group is not opposed to paying taxes, but wants property taxes shifted to sales or income taxes or fees for service, such as fire protection. When asked about the proposed amendment in May, Governor Mike DeWine expressed reservations.
Well, I don't know how you abolish property tax completely without raising other taxes. I mean, this is a significant way that we fund our schools.
You know what? I understand those people's frustration.
Sherry Smith would love some property tax relief, but says abolishing them would be a step too far.
And I knew it was going to quite possibly take money away from schools, take money away from the fire department, the police department, teacher. That's unacceptable to me.
That's a look at Consumer Watch this morning. Let's head over to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a pretty decent start to the day. Got some clouds out there. We are looking at a hot and muggy Thursday, though. Another full look at your forecast and birthdays and anniversaries right after this. All right, time now for some Thursday birthdays, and we're going to start in Wyandotte with Braylon Bartley, celebrating birthday number 20 today. Says happy birthday with love from Grandma and Grandpa.
And a happy 24th birthday to Nicholas Willis in Oswego. It says happy birthday with lots of love, Mom and Dad.
And Kiara Spravace celebrating birthday number 28. She actually is a former employee here at KOAM, so wishing her a very happy birthday down in Joplin.
And in Moundville, a happy birthday to Danny Whitworth. It says love you bunches from your mom-in-law.
And Charisma Hightower celebrating a birthday in Coffeyville. Says happy birthday from Bella, Mom, Timothy, and Nana.
And continuing the list with the happy birthday to Jeannie Beck in Pittsburgh.
And down the road in Columbus, Juanita Dopkins celebrating another year wiser today. And of course, another great list of birthdays and anniversaries with we love very much. And if you would like to celebrate with us, Elise has information you need to know.
Yes, please submit your birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@koamnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those wonderful photos and messages to meet the deadline at the bottom of your screen, and to also please include the date of your celebration when submitting as well.
Important information there, and a reminder, we do have some dense fog around the Grand Lake area, so parts of Ottawa, Craig, Delaware, and western McDonald counties reduced visibility. So the Will Rogers Turnpike, US 60, US 69, just make sure you're using your low beams, not your high beams. Slow down. Give yourself time to get where you are going this morning. Outside of that, it's going to be hot, it's going to be muggy, and we might have a cloud or two pass overhead. Otherwise, we've got sunny skies out there. And as you saw, Future Track is hinting at maybe a pop-up shower, but as we discussed yesterday, the chance of any kind of rain today was extraordinarily low. It is even lower. We're talking, maybe a 1% chance, and I don't even think that, that's being optimistic, really. We're just going to be hot, dry, and muggy today. Now, that starts to change as we roll into Friday. We'll have a few clouds overnight tonight, and tomorrow, winds will begin to increase. They don't help with anything. It won't feel any better, but we'll have some gusty southwest winds, and as we roll into the afternoon, we start to get one round. We're looking at maybe several rounds of scattered storms. They start entering our northwestern counties by about noon. This first line of storms, not expected to do much. It's also not expected to last very long, but we'll have a few scattered storms out there. Then we get a pause, and then late Friday, 10, 11 o'clock tomorrow, we get another round of scattered showers and thunderstorms. Now, some of these could be strong to low-grade severe, but that threat is going to be limited, and will be isolated, but we could get some stronger storms late tomorrow night into very early Saturday morning. A few of those shower storms lingering through the first part of the day. By about 9, 10 o'clock, they are gone. We get another pause in activity Saturday afternoon before about 2, 3 o'clock. Another round of scattered showers and thunderstorms begins to roll through the area. Again, not expecting anything severe with that activity. We'll keep an eye on it. If anything changes, of course, we'll let you know. But we'll have that next round of scattered showers and thunderstorms that will continue through Saturday afternoon. And we're looking at additional showers and storms on Sunday. But look at all this cloud cover. That's a good thing in a way, and we'll talk about that here in a moment as well. Here's a breakdown of the risks as they stand for tomorrow. There is an isolated hail risk, primarily in our northern counties, and then the northern half of our area really has this isolated damaging wind risk. And again, that's going to be late tomorrow, so after 10 o'clock through early Saturday morning. So I'd say the risk is probably greatest between 10 p.m. and maybe 6 a.m. on Saturday. So again, not expecting a widespread severe weather event by any means, but some of the storms could get a little bit on the nasty side. All right, got a few clouds out there. That is courtesy of a line of severe storms that weakened as they approached Kansas City. Then they generated an outflow boundary that tried to get a couple of showers in our far northern counties. They did not make it. And eventually these clouds will clear on out of here. Mid-70s by 8 this morning. And look at how quickly we warm up. Mid-80s by 11 a.m. Ahead of, again, a hot and muggy day. Heat index values today could easily reach 100 degrees. So make sure you're taking care of yourself out there. And of course, if you're going to any of the fairs, make sure you're checking on the animals as well. We're going to have another look at your forecast here in just a moment, as well as your wake up recap. And when we transition to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., or if you're on KOAM Plus streaming with us, you don't need to do anything. And we're going to see how a one-of-a-kind playground in England is turning waste into an art-filled adventure.
This is your Wake Up Recap for July 10th. The top stories to start your day. Well, a woman is dead following a fire on the outskirts of Fort Scott. According to the State Fire Marshal's office, it happened in the 2200 block of Osage Road shortly before 5 p.m. Tuesday. Firefighters discovered the woman dead in her bed in the living room. The Fire Marshal's office says there's nothing suspicious about the fire at this time. Malachi Doyle of Topeka, Kansas learns his fate for his role in a 2024 fatal crash in Jasper County, Missouri. The crash happened about 7 months ago on December 7th. A Southwest Missouri judge sentenced Doyle to 2 years of unsupervised probation for the crash that killed Crystal Emery from Asbury. And the One Big Beautiful Bill cuts to Medicaid will affect hospitals in the 4 states, with $1 trillion set to be cut over the next 10 years. The future is unclear. Hospitals in the 4 states tell us that it's too soon to know how they will be affected. Medicaid is a federal program designed to help lower-income Americans afford health care. And that's a check of today's Wake Up Recap.
And we've got a hot and muggy day in store for us. Low 90s out there. Heat index values, though, easily approaching 100. Clear skies, maybe a stray cloud or two. Into the evening, still pretty mild, about 80 by 10. Low to mid 70s overnight. Few clouds out there as well. Winds pick up tomorrow out of the southwest, gusting occasionally to 25. Heat index values tomorrow also easily approaching 100 degrees. Then by the afternoon, a few scattered shower storms, more of those late Friday into early Saturday, continuing through at least Monday, bringing our temperatures a bit below normal this weekend. We heat up again Monday, Tuesday, and then by the middle of next week, we are back below normal. So again, we're getting those hot, muggy days, but it's really not been that bad.
No, not at all. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making sangria granita, in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Looking for a job can get overwhelming quickly. Coming up next, a career expert at LinkedIn will explain how you can navigate the process with confidence.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, we take a look at how some of those same laws could have an impact on the future of Medicaid in our area.
And Lori Horton back in the studio to finish up those toasted pecan cookies. However, it's going to wrap it up for us for now, so make sure you're staying hydrated out there. Take breaks, stay inside if you can, and join us back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.